Welcome to Jaipur.
Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Preeti Kaur. Coming up in the next 30 minutes, US and UK launch fresh strikes on Houthis in Yemen. India and Nigeria sign agreements to bolster cooperation in energy, healthcare, mobility and consular cooperation.
There are some big geopolitical bets that India is taking. One of the bets is on the rise of Africa.
And India diaspora worldwide celebrate consecration of Ram Lalla in Indian holy city of Ayodhya. The United States and the United Kingdom conducted further strikes against Yemen's Houthis. Bright orange flashes from explosions were seen in Yemen's capital Sana'a in the early hours of Tuesday morning. The Pentagon said the latest strikes targeted a Houthi underground storage site as well as missile and surveillance capabilities. British Defence Ministry also released a footage of its aircraft taking off from an unidentified location. The ministry said precision-guided bombs were used to strike multiple targets near the Sana'a airfield. The Houthis control the most populous parts of Yemen and said that their attacks are in solidarity with Palestinians. The Houthis' attacks have disrupted global shipping and stoked fears of global inflation. They have also deepened concern that fallout from Israel-Hamas war could destabilize the Middle East. The United States on Monday called for Israel to protect innocent people after Israeli forces stormed one hospital in Gaza. Israeli troops moved for the first time into Al-Mawasi district near the Mediterranean coast, west of Khan Yunis. Forces stormed Al-Khair hospital and arrested medical staff in the main city in southern Gaza. White House National Security Council spokesman John Kirby on Monday said Israel had the right to defend itself, but added that US expects them to do so in accordance with international law.
Uses places like hospitals to store weapons, house their fighters, even to some degree for command and control. And so that places a special need on the Israeli Defense Forces. They have a right to defend themselves. They have a right to go after these leaders. They have a right to take away the ability for Hamas to store and resource themselves, even if that is in hospitals. But again, I would say the same thing that we've said before on this issue, that we expect them to do so in accordance with international law.
Israeli Foreign Minister Israel Katz sidestepped discussion of a two-state solution at a meeting with European Union counterparts in Brussels on Monday. The EU Foreign Policy Chief, Josep Borrell, circulated a discussion paper with a roadmap for peace that calls for a preparatory peace conference organized by EU and the Arab nations. The US and UN were also invited to be conveners, while shortly before a meeting with his counterparts from the 27 member states, Palestinian Foreign Minister Riyad al-Maliki said EU ministers must call for a ceasefire in Gaza.
We have to call collectively for a ceasefire. We cannot accept anything less. We cannot be hesitant about a ceasefire. Every day that we show hesitancy, people are being killed, innocent people are being killed, children and women and elderly, and this is intolerable and unacceptable. The life of Palestinians really matter, and we cannot accept that, the life of Palestinian children are being really treated less than the life of children anywhere in the world.
Israel has proposed a multi-phase deal to Hamas, suggesting up to a 2-month pause in the fighting. The proposal, through Qatari and Egyptian mediators, includes release of all remaining hostages held in Gaza. It came a day after Israel rejected a deal by Hamas. Now, according to Israeli officials, more than 130 hostages are still being held in Gaza. Neither Israel, Qatar nor Egypt have confirmed this development so far. Reports about the progress in peace talks came as US President Joe Biden's advisor Brett McGurk traveled to West Asia. The likelihood that Lebanon being drawn into the war with Israel is growing. Lebanon's caretaker foreign minister Abdallah Bo Habib on Monday said concerns are growing that Lebanon could be dragged into a regional conflict in a spillover from Israel-Hamas conflict. While addressing the U.S. Council on Foreign Relations in New York, Abdallah Bo Habib said that such a conflict would not be a picnic for Israel.
Yes, we worry that we are pushed to this war. Hezbollah has more means than Hamas had. And therefore, I mean, it's going to be very difficult. It's going to be costly for everybody. Of course, Israel has the Air Force, and they can dominate the air and the land as well. But on the whole, it's going to be damaging for everybody. I think the Israelis know that. And I think that they wouldn't do it. They wouldn't attack. And if they really reach an agreement in Gaza, this would stop immediately and automatically would stop in southern Lebanon or northern Israel.
Turkish Parliament's General Assembly is set to debate Sweden's NATO membership bid on Tuesday. Voting will be held after more than a year of delays. The decision of voting comes after the Turkish Foreign Affairs Commission approved the country's bid for membership last month. In 2022, Sweden and Finland applied for NATO membership. Finland joined the organization in April 2023, while Turkey refused to ratify Sweden's bid. Turkey and Hungary are the only NATO members yet to ratify Sweden's application. Let's get to the latest from U.S. polls now. Former U.S. President Donald Trump remains the clear front-runner as voting gets underway in the New Hampshire primary. The northeastern state is the second to vote, in which Republicans should lead the party to challenge Joe Biden in November's election. Nick Harper gets us details from Manchester, New Hampshire.
Well, here in New Hampshire, we'll see voting throughout the day on Tuesday. Polling stations throughout the state opened for Republicans to cast their vote to say which person they want leading the party in November's election and challenging the Democratic President Joe Biden. It has now come down to a two-candidate race. Donald Trump, the former president, versus his UN ambassador, Nikki Haley. That's because another candidate, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, pulled out on Sunday saying he sees no path forward to victory. His polling numbers were very low here in New Hampshire. Perhaps just 4 or 5% of the state was expected to vote for him. In terms of the polling for the other two candidates, we still see Donald Trump way ahead, potentially anywhere between 11 to 19% ahead of Nikki Haley. Now, she needs to show that she is an alternative to Donald Trump, that she can present a different vision for the country, one that is different to Donald Trump's. And she's hoping that the moderate independent voters in this state could give her a win. She knows she needs to cause an upset by winning here or coming in a very strong second. We were at a rally that she had in the city of Exeter, New Hampshire, and she seemed to appeal to the younger, college-educated voters, many of her messages seeming to resonate with them. But this is perhaps her last best shot at showing that she can become the Republican nominee. A big win for Donald Trump may make it hard for Nikki Haley to hang on in the race. Although she is saying no matter what happens here in New Hampshire, she intends to compete in the next few state-by-state primaries, one in Nevada and then one in South Carolina in just over a month's time. She's hoping to do well there as she is the former governor of that state. But it will all depend on what the results are here in New Hampshire on Tuesday evening. Nick Harper in Manchester, New Hampshire, reporting for DD India.
Ahead of the voting, Trump took to the stage to woo New Hampshire voters, saying Nikki Haley will be gone after the primary.
We had a very good competitor, Ron, as you know, Ron DeSantis, and he fought hard and he fought well, and now we have one left. We started off with, really, if you add some Democrats into it, we started off with 13, and now we're down to 2 people. And I think one person will be gone probably tomorrow. And the other one will be gone in November.
Also came out for Trump's support was his son, Donald Trump Jr., who campaigned in Hollis. He said the U.S. went from a country with peace, growing wages, and low gas to the antithesis.
And so this election is very simple. We can continue the failures with Joe Biden. We've seen what that can do. We went from peace, prosperity, low gas, a lot of jobs, wage growth for the lowest income earners, no wars, to the antithesis of that. There's a reason that the Democrat mega donors are funding people like Nikki Haley. Because whether it's Biden or Nikki Haley, it's the same thing to them. They're controlled. She's owned by Big War in Washington, D.C., and the same billionaire donors that literally put in Joe Biden to office. For them, it doesn't matter. They have their dancing monkey. They'll wind the strings. They'll do whatever they want for the swamp, and that's it.
Looking to solidify support in the final hours before the New Hampshire primary, Nikki Haley made a representation, perhaps her last chance for her candidacy.
You look at any of these general election polls, any of them, Trump and Biden, it's a dead heat. It's going to be a nail-biter of an election. We don't know what's going to happen. But we're scared that it'll be 2018, 2020, 2022 all over again. I'm in every one of those same general election polls. And I defeat Biden by up to 17 points.
From the Democrat side, U.S. President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris took aim at the Republican curbs on abortion rights. Democrats hope the issue will attract independent voters and increase turnout in November. Republicans have issued restrictive abortion laws in nearly 24 states since the Supreme Court's reversal of abortion rights. In his address, Biden said, and I quote, he said that women in America face a new cruel reality because of the new laws curbing reproductive rights. Meanwhile, Harris, kicking off a national tour on abortion rights in the key battleground state of Wisconsin, blamed former U.S. President Donald Trump for helping reverse the U.S. abortion rights.
Today, in 2024, in America, women are turned away from emergency rooms, forced to travel hundreds of miles to get basic health care in another state that may have a different rule, forced to go to court to plead for help. They turned a deeply private and painful matter into a public matter. And we need the American people to keep making their voices heard. That cruel reality is a result of extreme Republicans who for years have made it their mission to end the Roe v. Wade decision.
Now, on the 51st anniversary of Roe, we speak of it in the past tense. In the last 19 months, in states across our nation, extremists have proposed and passed laws that criminalize doctors and punish women. The former president handpicked 3 Supreme Court justices because he intended for them to overturn Roe. He intended for them to take your freedoms. And it is a decision he brags about. Yes, he does.
The trial of E. Jean Carroll's defamation suit against Donald Trump was delayed until Wednesday after a juror fell ill. U.S. District Judge Lewis Kaplan in Manhattan sent one of the 9 jurors home to get a COVID test done after the juror reported feeling hot and nauseous. The trial comes instead, it concerns Trump's June 2019 denials of Carroll's claim that he raped the former Elle magazine advice columnist in the mid-1990s in a Bergdorf Goodman department store dressing room in Manhattan. A different jury last May ordered Trump to pay Carroll $5 million over a similar October 2022 denial. The judge will decide later whether Trump can testify. A quick look at other stories making it to the headlines from across the world. Cameroon launched the world's first routine malaria vaccine program, a WHO-approved vaccine developed by British drug maker GSK. The vaccine, which kills nearly 500,000 children under 5 annually in Africa is meant to work alongside existing tools like bed nets. However, few people received the shot and some parents were hesitant to give consent to the vaccine. Coco Jones, a former Disney star, has become a first-time Grammy nominee in 5 categories, including Best New Artist. Jones, who began her career as a recurring guest on Disney's So Random and Let It Shine, shared her struggles as a dark-skinned black girl in a 2020 YouTube video. She plans to compete in the Grammy Awards on February 4th. Benito the giraffe has left Central Park in Mexico for his new safari home, the African Safari in Puebla. The move comes amid pressure from activists over poor conditions in his previous home. Benito, who has lived alone in a small cage for 8 months, is expected to share space with 7 other giraffes now. A short break ahead, but still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Elon Musk advocates for India's permanent UNSC membership, says India not having a permanent seat is absurd. Lord Ram Temple in Ayodhya opens doors for general public for darshan. Devotees participate in the first Aarti after consecration ceremony. Indian women's team all set for FIH Hockey Women's World Cup in Oman 2024.
We just don't bring you the news as it unfolds. We get to the heart of the matter.
We don't just present facts. We demystify complex social, political and economic events.
We break stories that shape the world's present and future because you deserve the truth.
I am Tanvi Taneja from New Delhi.
I'm Ollie Barrett from London.
I'm Nick Harper from Washington, D.C.
Join us on DD India Global Monday to Friday at these times.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India Live. Tesla CEO and Twitter owner Elon Musk has strongly supported India's permanent membership in the United Nations Security Council. Expressing his views about the members of global countries, Elon Musk in his post on X said that at some point there needs to be a revision of the UN bodies. Problem is that those with excess power don't want to give it up. India not having a permanent seat on the Security Council, despite being the most populous country on earth, is absurd. Africa collectively should have a permanent seat. Not only did Musk support India in getting a permanent seat at the UNSC, but also bagged African membership to the prestigious office. A Chinese survey and research vessel equipped with advanced surveillance equipment is heading towards the Maldives. Chinese research vessel Xiang Yang Hong 03 reportedly entered the Indian Ocean region and is expected to reach Maldives early next month. The vessel is set to run an ocean survey operation in the Indian Ocean region from 90 degrees ridge south of Andaman and Nicobar Islands to deep South Indian Ocean. The Chinese vessel is heading towards the Maldives after Sri Lanka refused permission for the ship to dock at one of its ports. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar on Monday co-chaired the 6th India-Nigeria Joint Commission meeting alongside his Nigerian counterpart Yusuf Tugar. The two leaders noted the expansion of economic cooperation, especially trade and investment. The two sides agreed to strengthen people-to-people exchanges, mobility and consular cooperation. India and Nigeria also cooperate closely in multilateral fora and decided to take forward that tradition. Addressing the joint press statement after the conclusion of the meeting, the minister said that both the countries signed agreements in energy, power, renewables, transport, healthcare, fintech, agriculture and security.
One of the agreements we signed was on solar energy. So we will see much more cooperation in the field of green and clean growth. Secondly, Nigeria and India, we both face big health challenges. How do we make medicines, health facilities affordable and accessible? So that is also something we will be looking at. We discussed transportation. How can we work together on transportation, on other forms of energy, on security. So on investments on technology of various kinds. We are even looking at how do we use digital technology for cashless payments between our two countries.
Earlier, Dr. S. Jaishankar addressed the India-Nigeria Business Forum organized by CII and NICCI. The visiting leader underlined that deepening economic partnership is the key to the expansion of the ties. He also encouraged businesses to enhance their networking, identify regulatory and policy impediments, and utilize opportunities.
Today, I would just say if there are some big geopolitical bets that India is taking, one of the bets is on the rise of Africa. That we are betting that in the next decade, we're going to see an amazing transformation here. So whether it is opening new embassies, encouraging more trade and investment interactions, creating more opportunities for political contacts, getting the systems really to know each other more, that is very much our objective.
The doors of the Ram Temple in the Indian holy city of Ayodhya were thrown open to the general public from Tuesday morning. Devotees in large numbers thronged to the Ram Temple to participate in the first Aarti after the consecration ceremony yesterday. The gates were open to the public from 7 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. and will be open from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. Thousands of devotees are expected to visit the temple town daily for the darshan of Ram Lalla. Diwali, the festival of lights, came early for India as people across the country celebrated consecration of Ram Lalla in his birthplace at Ayodhya. In Western Indian state of Gujarat, the Swami Narayan Gurukul Vishwa Vidya Pratishtanam Gurukul in Ahmedabad was decorated with hundreds of special lights on Monday evening to mark the opening of the Ram Temple. Several people in North India's Haridwar celebrated the auspicious occasion by lighting earthen lamps. People in northeastern Assam celebrated the occasion by bursting firecrackers and lighting lamps. Firecrackers also adorned the skies over Jammu and Kashmir's Poonch as locals celebrated the historic day. Padma Shri awardee sand artist Doordarshan has once again made it to the world records for creating the biggest sand art of Lord Ram in Ayodhya. Celebrating this momentous event in a unique and artistic way, 500 miniature replicas of the Ram Temple were also installed. He also created the scanned sculptures of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath near Lord Ram's sand art, taking blessings from the Lord. And the whole world is rejoicing in the happiness of Ram Lalla's consecration. Indian diaspora around the globe celebrated the homecoming of Lord Ram with great enthusiasm and devotion. Ambassador of India to Ukraine, Harsh Jain, joined embassy representatives for a special puja at an ISKCON temple celebrating the consecration of the Ram Temple in Ayodhya. Members of ISKCON and the Indian diaspora also participated in the event, showing solidarity and support for the historic occasion in India. And now from Cyprus, High Commission of India in collaboration with Sanskriti Cyprus screened the auspicious Pran Pratishta ceremony live from Ayodhya Ram Mandir at Sri Radhe Krishna Community Centre, Nicosia. In Wellington, around 1,500 people from the Indian community and diverse sections of the society gathered for a joyous celebration with live telecasts from Ayodhya. The atmosphere was lively as people danced and participated in Aarti at the temple, displaying their excitement and support for the occasion. Celebrations were in full swing at Ram Mandir at Vishnu Temple in front of Royal Palace. The fervor of Ayodhya Ram Temple's consecration gripped Cambodia as temples held recitations of holy scriptures and a mass of people lit candles and diyas. And Ram Lalla's homecoming to Ayodhya was also celebrated by Indian diaspora under the jurisdiction of Embassy of India in Bern, Switzerland. The event concluded with a cultural show. The fervour of Ayodhya's Ram temple's consecration gripped socials as temples held recitation of holy scriptures and a mass of people lit candles and diyas. Live streaming of the Ayodhya ceremony was also broadcast. All right, a look at sports now. In hockey, the Indian women's team is all set to play the inaugural edition of the FIH Hockey Women's World Cup. Now, the tournament is set to take place from 24 to 27 January in Muscat, Oman. The Indian women's team find themselves in Pool C alongside USA, Poland and Namibia. India will play their first match against Poland on 24th of January. Blessila Sangma, fencer from Tamil Nadu, says one day she will hold the Olympic gold medal in her hands and make the country proud. Blessila further said that she is very excited to participate in this edition of Khelo India Games that is giving her new wings. Let's listen in.
We have with us a player who just participated in the women's category. A very warm welcome to DD India. How was the match against Team Karnataka?
From Karnataka, I won the bout from Karnataka girl. The score was 15 and she's 10.
What are the benefits that you are getting by participating in Khelo India Games?
This is my first Khelo India. This is my first participating. It was good, the food, everything. They had give us the clothes like upper, lower, everything, back socks, everything. It is benefit for us.
And also when we talk about your goals, what is the next goal that you are looking at?
I want to participate in the Olympics like Bhavani Devi won, who participated from India. She had participated in the Olympics, but she can't. But I can.
This is really inspirational for us also, and also for all the viewers, especially the women athletes who are watching you, to see the kind of confidence that you have. Now, when we talk about the preparations, you are playing against so many states over here. Does that help you in any way?
Yes, while practicing, I would practice with only Tamil Nadu players. I can only see the game about only Tamil Nadu coaches. But while I'm practicing with other teams and while I'm playing bout with other states, it is benefit for me. New techniques I can learn.
And also for all the being a woman, there is this mascot which is called Veer Mangai. You would be knowing about her. Yeah. And how does this particular mascot give you an inspiration being a powerful woman?
Yes, while she's carrying the gold medal, I would dream like this. I should carry a gold medal, Olympic gold medal. I would try.
We wish you all the very best for that. So there you heard from the women fencing player who said that like Veer Mangai, she wants to stand there tall and hold the gold medal, and that gold medal has to be an Olympic gold medal. So this is Deepika reporting with camera person Senthil from Chennai for DD India.
And dedication. Let's end this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X and also Instagram. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Preeti Kaur signing off, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.